Hello, I'm that James guy, and today we're going to change the oil on my 2021 CX-5. So you're driving along and the service soon light comes on, meaning you need an oil change soon. You can do it yourself for really cheap. All you need is a few simple tools. A ratchet and socket for the drain plug, strap wrench for the oil filter, some good ramps, filter, oil. Oh, for good measure, you're going to want a torque wrench. That you don't have to have it, but it really helps. And some nice nitrile gloves for working so that you don't get your hands all dirty with oil. Very crucial, you're going to need a really good oil drain bucket. It's really important that you get a good one. Ice cream pails work, but this just makes life way easier. And if you're going to do this moving forward, changing your own oil, you're going to want a really good drain bucket. I almost forgot, you'll need a creeper as well. Piece of cardboard would do, but creeper, much better. Also another socket for taking the bottom cover off the bottom underneath the engine, and a little clippy remover tool for doing the same cover. That should be it. So the first thing you're going to do is go for a drive until your engine is fully up to operating temperature. After that, we can bring it up on the ramps and get going. I always like to pull the engine cover off. I'll tell you about that later. So there's 3 clips and a screw that holds this little door on. And if you just take your little clippy tool, I thought there was 3, but there's only 2. And then next, you pull the screw out. And this guy, oh, another screw, gets you access to the oil filter and drain. So we'll get our drain bucket and we'll get draining. Give your drain plug a wipe and get it all ready to go back in. The OEM Mazda oil filter comes with its own new washer, so we don't have to worry about that. We just need to pull that washer off the drain plug, replace it with that one, and put it back in and torque it to spec. Once your oil's down to just barely a trickle, you can go ahead and put the drain plug in. There's no sense in waiting any more than that. Put your drain plug in. Torque spec is 23 to 30 foot-pounds. Apparently, I'm going to aim for 26. And we'll just give that a wipe. Next, we'll get the oil filter off. You might be able to pull it off by hand depending on who put it on last, but in this case, we're going to go ahead and get the strap wrench and pull it off that way. Get your drain pan under, loosen it until it leaks. Once it's almost done dripping, just go ahead and wind it off. This drain plug has a nice little spot for you to put it. Always double check that the gasket came with it. You don't want the gasket left behind, or else you're going to cause major issues. Peel the cover off the new filter. It is pre-lubed with a little bit of grease on it, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, give this sealing surface just a little bit of a wipe to make sure it's nice and clean. And then you don't want to fill the filter, because if you fill the filter, you don't know if it's dirty or clean. There could be dust and dirt falling in there. Leave it empty. And what you're going to do is you're going to wind it on by hand, pretty tight, basically as tight as you can without using a wrench. That's not going anywhere. Okay, while you're under the car, you're going to want to give things a little look. Check the CV boots, check for any leaks out of the shocks. You want to check for any obvious engine oil leaks. We'll go to the other side, check it out. Anything obvious, the rubbers on the control arm. You basically just give it a once over just to make sure there's nothing obvious going on. Up top, we're going to basically want to do the same. We're going to check for any obvious leaks, any issues, coolant leaks, oil leaks. A couple levels we're going to want to check here, and the first one is a coolant level. You can see down there we're right at the full line, so that's good. The other one is the brakes. You can see here the brakes. Here's the brake fluid. There's the top. That's where the level is. Maximum. Minimum's way down there, so we're good to go with that one. There is no transmission oil dipstick on this one, so we can't check that. Always give your funnel a good wipe just to make sure there's any dust and debris. If there was any, there's no longer any. Close the valve cap and put your funnel in. Today I am using Mobil 1 fully synthetic. The reason I use synthetic is because this car sees a lot of short trips and it makes me feel better to put synthetic in it. Apparently this thing holds 4.8 quarts. In my experience from the last oil change, it holds a little bit more than that. I'm going to pour most of the jug in, but leave it short. You never want to go over the full line. You want to run it after you've done this, and it should be a bit low on oil, and you can just add enough oil to bring the oil level up to the dipstick full line. Filler cap on and start the engine. No crazy bells and whistles. It must be good. Next thing you're going to want to do is go underneath the car and just check for leaks. We'll put our cover back on. So you always want to check the oil on level ground. So I backed it off the ramps, turned the engine off. We're going to let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we're going to check the oil and top it up. All right, let's check the oil. First we're going to wipe it off, and then we'll put it back in and give it a check. It is on the low line, so we still need to add a bunch. This was almost 5 quarts and we're still on the low line. So like I said, this thing seems to hold a lot more than what the book says it should. I'm on my second jug. We'll see what that does. And that's good. Dipstick back in, oil filler cap back on. I'll put the engine cover back on. We are done under the hood. Now to reset the oil change interval. So we'll turn the car on. We're going to go to information, vehicle status monitor. We'll go to vehicle maintenance settings, reset service interval. Yes, everything is reset and my dash warning is gone. The very last thing is disposal. Always recycle your oil. Bring it back to the proper place. The nice thing about this drain pan is I have this nice little spout and I can go ahead and empty my oil back into the oil jug from whence it came. So that's how you change your oil. Hey, if you found this useful, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. You'll get to see all sorts of other crazy things I do, like buying old crappy cars and trying to fix them up the hard way. Also Instagram, that__James__guy up there. Go ahead, follow me, and I will see you next time.